Hi everyone, my name is Edith Ananda and I'm together with
Noah Prisha.
We're from the Uganda Society for Legal Academics. Before we continue, kindly subscribe and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get any notification on our subsequent videos. Also, we have a first series which was on elections. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It is very useful information. Also, post in our comment section any questions or any topics you may want us to discuss, and we'll check it out and get back to you. Today's topic is business rescue mechanisms post-COVID-19. We are first of all going to discuss the effects of COVID-19 and then take you through the different legal processes of business rescue. Prisha is going to tell us what effects has COVID-19 had on our economy. Yes, Prisha.
Thank you, Ananda. Basically, what we want to talk about today is what COVID-19 has impacted on businesses globally and locally. So as you all know, we've all faced this COVID-19 pandemic and we are still facing it up to date. And as a way to curb this spread of the virus, governments have been able to impose lockdowns, shutdowns, travel restrictions. And although those different preventive measures have been able to curb the spread of the virus, they have negatively impacted the economy, and we've had a rampant increase in people filing for bankruptcies, businesses filing for insolvency, liquidation petitions, and all that, and so on and so forth. So what we want to discuss today is the different rescue mechanisms of how businesses can actually prevent themselves from actually going insolvent. So that is going to be like the main body of our discussion today.
So before we get into the different methods of corporate restructuring and business rescue, we first of all have to understand what does it mean legally for a company or an individual to be unable to pay their debts. So the first test is where a company or individual is unable to fulfill a statutory demand. This can take any form. It can be a letter, it can be a demand notice, anything under the law that really requires the other party to pay you and is intended between you two to be a statutory demand is a statutory demand. The second test of inability to pay debts basically is where an execution from court is returned unsatisfied or partially satisfied. Then where that happens, the law regards this person or the company or the business as unable to pay its debts. And then lastly, a person or a company or an entity basically is deemed unable to pay its debts where its properties or its assets and all its manageable assets and money and everything is in control of a receiver. So where this person or this entity is not in control of their assets, then this person or entity is deemed to be unable to pay its debts. Yes, so those are the three tests for inability to pay debts, and these tests basically are sufficient on their own. They all do not have to be present for them to suffice as inability to pay debts. Each test works on its own.
And from that, all those different tests are provided for under Section 3 of the Insolvency Act, Laws of Uganda 2011. So you can go and read more about them. So a person out there could be wondering what insolvency is or what bankruptcy is. And mainly these two are one in the same, only that insolvency is for companies and then bankruptcy is for an individual. So once an individual is unable to pay their debts, they can go ahead and file for bankruptcy. And if it's a company, that's when insolvency comes in. They're also unable to pay their debts as a company, so they go ahead and petition for insolvency.
So we are going to dive into the different ways of business rescue and corporate rescue, but we are going to have a discussion basically on business rescue and corporate restructuring. Under business rescue, we are going to discuss administration, and we are also going to discuss arrangement and compromise. Then under corporate restructuring, we are going to discuss mergers, or what in Uganda we consider to be amalgamations. Thank you so much.
And therefore, Please stay tuned for the next episodes where we are going to break down the different rescue mechanisms and restructuring methods that companies can use in order to save themselves. Please stay tuned for our next episodes. That is going to be, I think, episode 2 and 3, where we are going to break down all these different restructuring methods which you can use to save your company or yourself from going bankrupt. And you can go ahead, like the page, subscribe, and leave a comment in our comment section. We'll be able to answer all your different questions. Thank you.